Right. As promised, just one more example, really short section, which is always a bit of a relief. Okay, this last example, find f of x, where f prime of x equals the sine of 2x and f of 0 equals 3. So you notice we're going back to the prime notation here. You know, then I thought we were supposed to use capital F of x. Not for this one. All right, example. Find f of x where f prime x equals the sine of 2x and f of 0 equals 3. Okay. We'll come back to why they provide f of 0 equals 3. Turns out we'll need that toward the end of the problem. Let's focus on f prime of x equaling sine 2x. What would that make f of x? Okay. Let's see, thinking about this, if f prime is sine of 2x, you know, we can see somehow there's a chain rule is happening here, right? We got the sine and then we got the 2x. So let's think about kind of each piece. What's the antiderivative of sine? Think, well, the derivative of cosine is negative sine. So to end up with positive sine, we would need negative cosine. Let's go negative, and it would have the same argument, negative cosine 2x. Okay, that would get us the sine part, right? Derivative of cosine is negative sine. So this would end up being positive sine 2x. So far, so good. But then, you know, you think, well, if this was it, it's not just this, because this derivative would give us positive sine 2x, but then we'd still need to multiply by 2 because of the chain rule, but we don't see a 2 here. So something canceled out that 2. We need to multiply by a 1/2 to cancel out the 2 that would occur in the chain rule. And then, of course, there's a plus c. So let me write it out this way, negative 1/2 cosine 2x plus c. And yeah, okay. The chain rule would say negative 1/2 times negative sine 2x times 2. The 2's would cancel, the negatives would cancel. We'd end up with positive sine 2x. So far, so good. That's tricky, right? Working a chain rule backwards. Wow. Okay, so what's up with this f of 0 equals 3? So it turns out we can use that to figure out the value of c for this particular f of x. We're going to get even the c value here that would cause this to be true. Use to find c. Okay, so we're getting actually not the general antiderivative here, we're getting a particular antiderivative. How are we going to do that? Well, the function value is 3. The x value is 0. So I'll say 3 equals negative 1/2 cosine. Well, 2 times 0 is going to be 0. And we can figure out the c. Cosine of 0 is 1. So we got this. And then finding c, if we add 1/2, that would be 6/3. So adding is, 6/2. So then adding is 7/2. There's our c. Don't stop here. That's not the answer. We got to take this and put it back in to our function f of x equals negative 1/2 cosine 2x plus 7/2. There we go. We got it. Okay. Well, that's it for 4.9. Check out the homework.